Hello, Renee Flamont here. Minnie's very tired today, but she did get dressed for us. This video is so obvious to me, this topic, yet we all struggle when we go through the breakup with a narcissist. But the topic of how, if you, knowing what you know now, you would never, ever, in 1,000,000 years, pick that person again. Ever. Right? Like you say to yourself, we go through breakups in life. I'm somebody that wasn't married 40 years, so I've been through breakups. I've had boyfriends when you're younger, when you're older, you go through, okay, fine. And sometimes they're a good egg and there's some sadness and you're like, oh, that didn't work out, that's too bad. That's not how we're feeling for the narcissist, I hope. No. You know what you know now. You're staring that truth right in the face. And we have to say to ourselves, my God, I wouldn't pick them again. And that's got to stand for something. And we're going to get into that in 1 second. You know I got a lot to say on it. But I'm going to just take a sharp left turn off topic because I have a PSA announcement about safety in the waters in Florida. There was a video online. A little boy was fishing. He got very close to the edge of the pond, and the gator came up and took his fish and his pole and everything. And you can hear the father who's videoing it going, oh my God. I am here to tell you. Now, I don't know if that family was from Florida, if they knew, whatever. PSA announcement. Ready? If there is a body of water in Florida, assume it has a gator in it. Just assume it. They migrate. They walk and they swim. There are pipes underneath the grounds that lead one body of water to another. I don't even care if it's salt water. I'm like, maybe they went into the salt water today. Like, I will not. I've lived here 27 years. You will not catch me swimming. And I grew up in Rhode Island, okay? We swim in lakes, ponds. The most we ever had to be frightful of is like a tick. Do you know what I mean? The gators are real. You can find it online, I'm sure, because it was on the news and everything. And the whole time I'm watching this video, I'm thinking, why are these people letting this boy so close? Let me tell you a couple of things. I didn't even Google it because this is just information I've learned from living here, and you can Google it to correct my facts. A gator can be 6 inches under the water and you can't even see him. And they can travel 35 miles an hour in a straight line. So what would that take? That kid, I swear if he didn't have a fish for the gator to eat, that kid is small enough, they call it the death roll. The gator would have grabbed that kid, rolled him around, and brought him to the bottom. And if you're not from Florida and you're coming here to visit, it happens all the time, more than you know. Anyone that's lived here for as long as I know, we know a story. Somebody's dog, right? Please assume there's a gator. I don't care if it's a resort, if it's okay? I don't care. And the other thing that brings me to think of is pool safety. Where I come from in Rhode Island, you don't hear about that as much. Pool drownings and whatever. Again, if you've lived here long enough as I have, everyone has a very sad story. And the reason is because up north, a pond is a little bit maybe in the backyard removed from the house. A pool is certainly very removed from a house up in Rhode Island. They're just not on top of you. In Florida, if you're vacationing here, please be careful. The pools are right on top of the house. It's part of the porch. Northerners, they come, they open up the house, it's all open, somebody crashes to a nap, boom, the kid goes outside. Easier than you think. When my daughter was little, not only did we have the fence around the pool, we had on the door that led to the porch, I said, I'm not messing around. We had the lock was up, high. It was a deadbolt. It needed a key, and the key was placed high on a nail inside the pantry around the corner where she couldn't see. By the time she would have been old enough to figure out where the key was, get on a chair to get the key down, go over to the door, drag a chair over to the door, step up on the chair, unlock the door, go out the door. First of all, I would have seen her because I was omnipresent. And second of all, there's a baby gate. And third of all, if she's old enough to do all that, she knows not to do it. You have got to protect your children from these things when you come to Florida. That's all. I have a lot of issues that we'll one day get to. I mean, I'm not done discussing narcissism, but I have big opinions on everything. And one of these days I will, digress away from this topic and maybe make some videos on other, issues happening in the world, because I got an opinion on them. But for now, we're going to go back to this. The narcissist as a partner turns out to be completely unreliable, undesirable, as we learn, as we spend time with them, right? They're just not built. They're not built for the easy stuff, let alone the hard stuff that life can bring, right? If you're with a partner, it's tough enough when you're with a partner who's in line with you, right? Like I had a husband when I was married. We were in line on a lot of the things, right? But they are just not built for anything that life brings. The trials, the tribulations, the daily tasks, the daily responsibilities, fatherhood, motherhood, chores, saving money, family vacations. This is adulthood, right? And when you have a child, I don't know about you guys, but there's no party time for like 20 years. There's like a 20-year block of time during which your life is about them. Well, that alone, the narcissist's life is always about them. Always. Always. My narcissist used to say, I had 3 sons, and he was like coach of the millennium, according to him, and I would take them to games. And okay, you know what? My guess is that was about charming people to make himself look better. It wasn't from a deep-seated inside need and yearning to be a good father or to give his sons an experience. It was about, I bet you $1, he probably picked up people at the games. These are the kinds of people that they are. So every single turn, every single anything is going to turn into something about them. Like, think through all the times in life that require work, toil, discipline, selflessness, like raising children. You can't have it be about you. Ever. And I'm not saying you can't continue to grow and self-evolve and work on yourself and do things for yourself. That's not what I'm saying. But for the most part, once you have children, first of all, I always used to say to people, because I have friends that don't have children, and I would say, not everyone is meant to be a parent. Like, you have to think about your life. It would be totally different. Like, you lose the right to self-destruct. That's always the first thing I say. And that's what I mean by party. You can't live a life like that. My narcissist was. He's out, being out on both wives for 15 years apiece. Talk about reckless. What are you bringing home to them? What are you bringing home to them? And that's an easy choice, in my opinion, not to involve your spouse or your children in your antics. But if you're going out living life and doing all of this, you are involving your family in your antics. So you're not built for that. So would you choose this person again? You wouldn't. Not now, no, but he loved me so. Did he though? Did he? Or she? Did they? A person that loves you doesn't behave the way a narcissist behaves. So I'd like you to look at it through a different lens. Like I always say, even though my divorce it really was the perfect thing to do, but I married the right guy. I don't regret that. He was a stellar guy. My Italian mother picked him, so of course he was. She doesn't let me forget that. He's a stellar guy. We all still love him. We're all still friends. Things don't work out between two people. Oh, well. With a narcissist, I know you're not feeling that way. That he's a stellar person. Again, my pronoun's he. Yours is whatever it is. He's stellar? Is he? And you're pining away for him or her? Why? For what are you pining? What are you pining for? I don't know. Oh, but it's just the way he made me feel. No. That is a romantic notion that we've gotten from movies and videos and, books and things like this, where they romanticize love, that it's this chemical, inexplainable energy that you feel from somebody. And that's true too, don't get me wrong. But if you're resting in that and convincing yourself, but I just want to be with him or her, they just made me feel a certain way, I urge you to examine those feelings. What is it about them that made you feel a certain way? What exactly did they do for you or treat you, your being, in a way that makes you feel they need to be next to you? I know I wouldn't pick mine again. I always say I'm glad for the experience. It taught me everything. Absolutely. Brought me to you. Love this community we're building. I wouldn't pick him again, and I won't pick another one. I will not pick another one. The narcissist could never, ever, ever, ever put in the work that is necessary for a functioning life that you put it. Like life is hard, right? You're juggling all the things I mentioned before. It's hard. The narcissist could never. And you might say, well, mine did. He did, coach the Little League, and he cooked dinner every night, and okay, that's because, like I said, they have a motivation for what they're doing. It's not for a selfless reason. Mine cooked dinner every night. You want to know why? Because he likes to eat every night. I don't cook. I eat tuna, crackers, cheese, hummus. I'll eat for a month straight out of my pantry and never even go to the market. Peanut butter. I have a very simple palate. He wants to eat all those meals. Go ahead and cook them. It's a selfish motive, not selfless. It wasn't, oh, let me bestow this wonderful meal upon you, Renee. I was never fooled by that. Sure, it was convenient. Knock yourself out in the kitchen. Go ahead. But you have to examine the motivations behind anything that you remember that they did that was on the up and up. You're like, ooh, but he did this. Ooh, okay, why? Took care of things around the house? He wants the house to look nice around the neighbors. Probably so if a new neighbor moves in, he's open to be able to invite them over, and who knows? Everything is their hunting ground. They have no parameters on what they'll go after or what they'll let cross over, or I don't think they're bright enough to keep it out of their own district. They'll do it right under the nose of the person. Of course they will. It's selfishness that drives the narcissist. Whereas the rest of us, a lot of us, especially if you're parents, you're driven by a selflessness that it is impossible to explain if somebody else doesn't have it. And you do stop self-destructing, and you don't go out and party all the time. And they're doing this all the time throughout all life. Pretending to live a copacetic existence with a square white picket fence family life, and they're out doing Lord knows whatever once the barbecue has ended on the Sunday and the neighbors go home. Now the narcissist is what? Going out? That's who you want? I don't care if they're bored. I don't care if they need their ego to be piped up. I don't care if they need it's all about what they want at the time. What about what you need? What about what your family needs? What about the presence that you want your narcissist to emanate around your children? What kind of message are they sending? Oh, I think I'll take off to Texas for 2 years and run a bar. And the wife said yes? And the son stayed back? What do you think he was doing for those 2 years? I think of his wives. Yes, I'm talking about mine. I know I go off like that. I think of his wives and think, oh my God. No. No. The question of do we really even want them should be easily answered with a resounding no. But I do read comments and I hear from people that they would take them back, that they wish they would just come back and tell them I love you and start it all over again. You know, even at this point for some of us where child rearing is over in terms of they're growing up and they're getting older, we're not so concerned with that leg of it anymore. But just the every other day happenings, I want to be in life. I want to be able to go to sleep at night without such worry, without grief, without strife, without... I would be petrified if I had somebody who was continually stepping out on me and then coming back to me. I mean, in these days, oh God, no. That alone should close the door on you thinking that you would ever pick your narcissist again. The only way I think a narcissist could be possibly happy, or not even happy, that it could is just have an open relationship then, I guess. So everyone's informed and everyone has the information and everyone can protect themselves. I mean, my God. If they are not built for the easy stuff, let alone the hard stuff, it is not someone you want in your life. Because life can be hard enough, even if you're perfectly matched. So I just want you to give that some thought about whether or not you would even pick them again. Would you really pick them again? It really should be a resounding no. And I want you to give it some thought.